the development and the building standards and designs, the promotion of use of grey water, the restrictions particularly for the use outside of the agricultural sector, hygiene and domestic consumption, and make sure that they become everybody's responsibility, starting with the young people, but most importantly also going to the big water users that are our own strategic partners, such as the construction sector, the beverage sector, and those that are producing to grow our economy in the agricultural sector. A four-pronged strategy is being implemented towards additional water, and that includes desalination, groundwater optimization, water conservation and demand management, and the reuse optimization. On desalination, following our continuous engagement with the City of Cape Town, led by the Mayor of the City of Cape Town, Patricia de Lille and her team, the Minister of Water and Sanitation has held several meetings upon which there was a request for assistance, and we issued a directive to our Umgeni Water Board for a 10 megaliter plant of a desalination solution for the emergency intervention for the City of Cape Town. In the course of effecting that directive, we then were also informed late last year that the city has opted to request that we stop the implementation of the desalination solution so that they can assess the groundwater availability. We are in consultation with the city, and through the Resilience Committee, the last meeting was held this past week, where we are addressing even that kind of a response from the City of Cape Town, because we believe that no option must be put aside. We need to work on it in the same way as we have done in KwaZulu-Natal, in the same way as we are doing in Nelson Mandela Bay on upgrading of their waterworks, and of importance, we must start working on off-take agreements, just as we have done with the other projects, such as the one that everybody knows, the Berg River project, which was funded off budget, and we had to enter into an off-take agreement that then payment has to be done by those who have access to that water. So there are processes of dealing with those issues, and it is that kind of an intervention, because nowhere in the world is water infrastructure solely dependent on the fiscus. And that's why you have the Trans-Caledon Tunnel Authority that has been given the authority through National Treasury to go out and mobilize resources, enter into off-take agreements, so that then we are able to create water certainty, and on the other end, be in a position to make sure that there is collaboration in terms of investment opportunities out of the water infrastructure. The groundwater development and abstraction by the city of 150 megalitres per day in the Cape Flats aquifer has actually, the drilling has commenced to deliver water by May 2018. The Atlantis aquifer that would provide 5 megalitres per day. Work is underway to refurbish and pumping with a further 20 megalitres, and that would be delivered by May 2018 and onwards. The springs, Newlands, the Albion Spring, all of them combined are in operation. The Orange Zecht will yield 1 megaliter per day routed into the system. Additional sources have also been identified for optimization over and above the infrastructure interventions that the department, working together with the city, are busy implementing, including progress with regard to the reuse optimization on the Zandvlei, which is on track, on the Cape Flats, on the Makassar, on the Potsdam, and Athlone, that would all be ready from 2019 onwards. We also are looking at the review of the licenses for wastewater treatment works, and the work is underway in order to expand the reuse opportunities. And I must commend many of our municipalities outside of the city of Cape Town that have already started to do work in this regard. And working together with them, we have already embarked on a process of looking at the licenses and moving forward, just as we have done in other provinces. This is but one other area that can be able to tap on the water that we perceive to be waste, and yet it is water that can still be put to good use. On water conservation and demand management, we have delegated irrigation boards the responsibility to support enforcement activities. A directive has also been issued to the City of Cape Town, given the lack of management of water resources. There's also been an improvement on communication to avoid day zero, and the work has been done with civil society, and I must hasten to say this platform also is seen as another opportunity of building partnerships and of receiving ideas and working on solutions, just as we have seen with the Western Cape Water Crisis Coalition, which we are quite humbled by its activism and determination to mobilize civil society and every household. We have also been doing a lot of work in this regard together with Agri South Africa, that has been our partner, and our first meeting post-2017 was just held on the 4th of January to again look at the compliance and non-compliance. And we must commend the leadership of Agri-SA here in the Western Cape, as well as their own leadership nationally, that have gone out working together with our enforcement teams in ensuring that there is compliance. And as we speak now, there has been penalties, there are criminal charges, and there are licenses that are under review. But also thanks to those farmers who have also availed water that is within their own properties for good use. One of the families we went to with the president of Agri-SA yesterday has the capacity to provide us with an additional 140,000 litres of water per day, and one of their commitments is that they would want to deliver 30,000 litres of water to Khayelitsha. And it is these things that show the high level of patriotism and the need for partnership, and most importantly, communication, including sharing of information, because enforcement and compliance doesn't mean being heavy-handed, but working together to find solutions. We went to different sites, and it was through the leadership of the irrigation boards as well as the leadership of the agricultural sector that we have also seen a shift in terms of behavior in the agricultural sector, and we have also been able to give certainty on how best other interventions can be done through the Department of Agriculture as well as the Agriculture Research Commission Council, and as well as the Department of Agriculture here in the Western Cape, who have been doing a lot of good work and who are the ones who have also been working with our teams that are busy now in the Western Cape looking at further drilling that is scientifically led, so that then we also do not deplete our groundwater. The department has granted approval on various licenses so that then the City of Cape Town can be in a position to effect its planned programs, and those have to do with the Steenbras 3 phases, that has to do with 57 million cubic meters per annum. The Cape Flats 3 phases, that would yield 75 million cubic meters per annum, and the Orange Zegt. The medium to long-term interventions are the following: the extra Stand Dam operational problems are being attended to, where there's the augmentation of the pump capacity at Groundwater when the dam drops below 50%. The transfer of water to Aikenhof Dam and to Steenbras Dam. By the time I leave the Western Cape, I'll be able to pronounce all this. In this area, water will be transferred through the Palmit pumped storage scheme with existing infrastructure. The desalination plant, the support to the city of Cape Town on the erection of the 10 megalitres per day desalination plant, the fuel-free dam supply to the Swartland Waterworks, the Overberg water rehabilitation of the two wells, and then the Deer Waterskloof Dam, focusing on water supply to the Charmaine Tunnel. I'm sure you all received one clip that was circulating over the festive season about the Deer Waterskloof and somebody saying, yeah, is water going to the farmers? And they say there's no water. I think Trevor and the other scientists who are here can better elaborate exactly what was happening there, because it again had to do with water demand management for the critical sector, which is the agricultural sector. On our long-term plans, and I think that's what the press club has also asked, to say, whilst we're dealing with the present, how does the future look like? There are a number of projects that are busy considering the different schemes that are there. The Berg Refir Fuel Flay Augmentation Scheme that has a potential to yield an additional 23 million cubic meters. The Mitchell's Plain Pass diversion, the Fuel Flay Dam, the Molenars diversion, the Palmit transfer, the Upper Vet Refir diversion. All of them are at different stages of readiness. Some are at the level of feasibility. The Berg Refir, the Mitchell's Plain, Mitchell's Pass is on feasibility. The Fuel Flay is also on pre-feasibility, together with Molenars, Palmit, and Upper Vet. The four of them are at the level of pre-feasibility. In 2017, on the 18th of May, I granted approval to build the Berg Refir scheme as a government waterworks in terms of Section 109 of the National Water Act, subject to a positive environmental authorization. We then went further to issue a directive to the Trans-Caledon Tunnel Authority, TCTA, to secure funding and implement the project on behalf of the Department of Water and Sanitation. And I just want to set the record straight. These are projects, this is one of the projects that would then be funded off budget, and hence TCTA has to go out. And once TCTA has to go out and mobilize the resources, there has to be off-take agreements where there is a commitment to then pay for that water that is being supplied. And that does not mean national government has not actually funded, because national government will provide a guarantee, and that's what we have been able to secure through TCTA. And like in any other supply by any water utility, then the institution or the sphere of government that then receives this bulk water has to then make a commitment to pay, like it is happening in any other environment. And I hope this then deals with the issues of point scoring and many other things that are flying around the Western Cape. The Berg Refir Fuel Flay Augmentation Scheme is conceptualized to abstract and pump winter flows from the Berg River to the existing fuel flay dam, improving its yield by 23 million cubic meters per annum. The detailed design is scheduled for completion in August 2018, and delivery will be by March 2021. Remember, this is part of the long term. And as I've said, together we can avoid day zero. It is avoidable if we just do the little that each one of us is expected to do. Water users in Cape Town are still using more water than the rightful allocation. It is therefore important that all users play their part in reducing water consumption. The agricultural sector has made a commitment to make sure that they explore innovative solutions as advised by some of our institutions of higher learning, CSIR, as well as the Water Research Commission, so that then there is adaptation to the realities of climate change. And that is being well received, because it would actually take us beyond the challenge that farmers are faced with. Households are also being encouraged, and they should also be made to appreciate that water has no substitute, and therefore we need to provide practical tips on how to reduce, but most importantly, to reuse water and save drinkable water for better use. As I've said, we have seen, and we must appreciate, the new property developments that are happening in KwaZulu-Natal, in eThekwini, where grey water has been put as part of the water mix, so that then surface water can be redirected to the health sector as well as to the consumption for cooking and for any other use. We must also commend some of the property developers that have also come forward, as well as the big water users such as Coca-Cola, Sasol, South African breweries, who are some of the big water users who are part of the strategic water partners that we have as this government, as well as the WWF, who are advising us. And this is an initiative that has been embraced worldwide as to how best we can work together. And this is but, again, a demonstration of how partnerships can actually yield better results. We're working with our communities, because we do believe that in every ward, in the length and breadth of South Africa, there is a ward councillor, there is a ward committee, there are community organizations, there are interest groups. We need to take communication to that particular level. We need to partner with organized formations. We must depoliticize the drought challenges in the Republic of South Africa. Water knows no ideology. It knows no political affiliation. What it needs the ability of wise men and women, scientists, technocrats, project managers, community-based and faith-based organizations, all of us to partner. And where we are standing, we want to again say, we can and we must avoid day zero. We must avoid day zero through our own behavior, through our own interventions, through better communication, but most importantly, through understanding that the solutions don't lie in throwing money, but the solutions lie in reprioritizing. Because when a disaster is declared, the immediate thing that has to happen is for all of us to reprioritize, and we have done that. We must commend our city of Cape Town. They have done everything within their ability, including the mobilization of capable men and women who are part of the Water Resilience Committee. What we must do is to make sure, therefore, that we disseminate the information and we act at an appropriate time once the warning is being conveyed. Because that is what we have to do. Once there is a warning, respond to that warning. We form part of the Provincial Disaster Management Committee of the Western Cape. We are in the Resilience Committee. There is a National Disaster Management Committee that is convened by the Department of Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs, where the Department of Finance, the Department of Trade and Industry, the Department of Agriculture, the Department of Rural Development, the Department of Environmental Affairs, Human Settlement, and the Department of Water and Sanitation, we all sit together, and as per invitation, we do have our ministers inviting those relevant stakeholders, just as we will be doing in this coming Tuesday, inviting the Agri-SA people, because their issues are not just bound to the Western Cape, but looking at how we use agriculture to promote economic growth, and we cushion it against the severity of the drought. It is those that we are doing. Just late last year, we had the city, together with the provincial government of the Western Cape, being part of the provincial coordinating committee convened by the President of South Africa to look at the issues. And this coming Tuesday, we will then be receiving the progress out of the work that has been done here through the Disaster Management Commission. And we must also commend the City of Cape Town that they will be activating their own disaster management center with immediate effect. We have been working with them. Day zero must be avoided. It can be avoided. And thanks to those who have already come out to deal with the issues in helping us to find a solution. As I've said, the best way to deal with these issues is through partnership and partnership. Secondly, is to afford the technocrats, the skilled men and women, to be the ones who give us wise counsel and advice. And as I'm saying all this about day zero, it is based on the scientific evidence of what can be done, and move away from the blame game. It is a responsibility of everyone. It is. Declaration of a national disaster will not actually bring rain. The rain won't fall, but it is a responsibility that must be informed by the report we'll be receiving this coming Tuesday, and the reports that have actually been presented all along. And I really wish to commend everybody, because ours and us being here has got very little to do with the politics and who can make a difference. We believe all of us can make a difference. Water has no substitute. The Western Cape is a province that is dependent on the winter rainfalls. And I've been saying to people, when we were supposed to have the rains here in the Western Cape, we had just put a desalination plant in Richards Bay, and the entire rainfall just moved to Richards Bay. So maybe we must put a desalination plant here, then it shall rain, I don't know. But that's what everybody's been making a joke about that. We were surprised in Gauteng, even at that time when we expected the rains. Here in the Western Cape, instead our dams were so full in Gauteng, we had to go and make sure that we open up. And that is a reflection of the realities of climate change. And adaptation is so important. Day zero is avoidable. Thank you very much.
And there we had it, Minister of Water and Sanitation Nomvula Mokonyane, of course, giving a national overview of possibly day zero in Cape Town and that it can be avoidable. For more on this and other news, do stay tuned on AM News.
So Paul will go around and just put up your hand if you want to ask a question. And journalists, we're going to start now. Please make sure you get your questions in first. The first round, preferably for the journalists.
Okay, just want to move our recording devices. Does anyone else want to do the same quickly? Roy Simpson, Heart FM. Minister, I know you want us to avoid the blame game, but as taxpayers and residents here, obviously the question on our minds is we've relied on government to supply this absolutely essential service. Here we are without this service. Just in your own words, as simply as possible, could you please explain to us how we got here? How is it that we're in this situation?
You want to put your mic here? Can do it now.
Thanks, Minister. We have Helen Zille from News 24. You said that throwing money at the problem isn't necessarily the solution. I'd just like to ask, in previous years, the National